Hello, this is my presentation on breaking into sales, specifically as a business development representative, also known as a BDR, and I'm Zachary Cox, obviously. So first we're going to start off what even is a BDR. So commonly in the sales world, there are going to be two terms associated with people that are in charge of generating leads for the company. Business development representative, which is a BDR, and a sales development representative. So the key difference between the two, because they're often confused about when they're talked about, is a sales development representative is dealing with people on an individual basis, whereas a business development representative, you're dealing with other businesses, other companies. So the main difference is that business development representative is just associated with companies, whereas an SDR is associated with individual people specifically. So now, a business development representative has four main key factors. Number one is to reach out to potential clients. Their job is to try and generate leads as best they can for the company. So their days is going to look like trying to network, trying to outreach, trying to contact as many people as possible to sell the product of the company. Now, when you talk about selling the product, they're not specifically trying to sell the product as much as they have to set up meetings for the account executive, as I said right here, book meetings for account executives, and the account executives, their job is to close the deal. So the best way I think about it is in basketball terms. You have someone who throws the alley-oop, throws the lob, that's basically the BDR. And then you have your next guy who's gonna dunk it, that's gonna be your account executive. As right here, I have build pipeline and not close deals. Their job is just trying to set up an alley-oop for the account executive to come in, talk to the person who's more knowledgeable about the product that the company's actually selling, and they can sell them and close the deal. The business development representative is someone who's just going in there to try and do a little soft lead, see if the person's actually interested or the company's actually interested in the product. So now we have why I'm talking about this. At first, I didn't know what I wanted to do when I got out of school. I had a couple of internships and I liked them, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't truly me. And after a little while, I did have a little bit of sales experience, and I was like, what would that look like on a corporate level? So then I did some research and I landed upon a business development representative. I had no idea what it was. And after learning and prepping, I'm starting a BDR role here in a few weeks at Clearwater Analytics in Boise. So I found the position, I thought it was like, hey, this is gonna be something that I think is something that is gonna be unique to me, something that I would find enjoyable and engaging. Talking to people is something that I find comes to me naturally, and I figured that this position would be something that kind of encompasses all those aspects. And then right here, this is everything I wish I knew when I started researching. It's like talking to people is something that I think makes the time goes by faster, which is why I chose this role. So now, obviously, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's going to be a lot of setbacks and a lot of rejection, a lot of challenges that come with this position. So a study that I looked at is 60% of the people that a BDR will even contact doesn't respond to them at all. And I'm sure, as you guys all know, that if you have someone that contacts you, calls you, and telemarketer, there's a high chance once you figure out what it is they're trying to sell, you don't answer. Same with the door-to-door salesman. If you see what they're trying to sell something and you're not interested, you don't even open the door. Same idea. 25% off the rip say, hey, like, I'm not interested, get off my property, stop calling me, stop contacting me, that type of deal. 10% are, yeah, I don't think I'm interested. Maybe it sounds like a good idea, but this isn't truly something that I want to buy right now. 5% result in booked meetings. And then what I want you guys to realize, rejection isn't failure, it's a part of the job. Once you guys start realizing as a BDR, once you start taking that rejection as a next step to getting that next yes, then you're going to become a lot more successful in this position. Something that I was told as far as BDRs go is that every single no you get is just one step closer to receiving that next yes. So why most new BDRs struggle, and the four main things that I came up with is it's inconsistent effort. Being a BDR is a straight grind. You're gonna have to talk to people, and if that's not something that comes comfortable for you or natural for you, then that's gonna make it difficult, as well as dealing with the constant rejection day in and day out. Next is poor time management. You're gonna have to try and reach out to a certain amount of people on a daily, weekly basis, and if you're not managing your time management on a proper level, then you're gonna miss these quotas and not talk to as many people as you need to. Next, overthinking. After you get hit with the 2 no's in a row, you're like, man, dude, I suck at this. You get in your head, and then you just go into this next call and say, hey, like, I'm not even a good salesman. And then why do you start thinking about that when talking to the next person? Then you're already shooting yourself down. It's like shooting yourself in the foot before you even open the door. Finally, weak or generic messaging. As I'm sure you guys already know, you've had people that have come up to you before and try and sell you something and just say, hey, I'm with da 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 da, trying to sell you this, and it's just it is just poor messaging. Or the most common one that we're all aware of is, hey, I'm calling you about your car insurance. Would you guys like a new quote? And it's just something that's just very bland, and it's not going to excite anybody you're talking to. First, as far as solutions go, I think the number one best way as far as to help overcome the constant struggles of BDRs is stay consistent. Success comes from daily habits. You all not only have to change your daily habits within your job, but it will as well within your life. If you're struggling as a BDR inside the job, you have to change what other poor negative habits you have outside of your life, and those will also translate into the workplace. Keep calling, emailing, and following up with the people you talk to. If you get someone who doesn't follow back to you or doesn't reach back out to you, follow back up with them. They may just been away from their phone. Obviously, some people just don't want anything to do with you, but you never know. The next time you follow up with someone, it could be a result of a lead, you would say. Finally, consistently builds trust and pipeline. Consistency, consistency, consistency. Keep doing it, keep working on it, and eventually you're going to get better at it, obviously, if you're putting your best step forward. Solution number 2, personalize everything. As I said before, have a generic outreach. Don't have something that's very basic, something they've already seen before. Try and be unique. Be something that they haven't seen before, which will excite them and bring them, which will also give you a higher chance of getting contact with this other company. Have personalized message, show effort and intent. So basically, when you're talking to someone, when you're messaging someone, be like a human. Don't try and treat someone like you're a robot. If you treat someone like a human, then you'll have a much higher chance of getting a reach back. Finally, a study that I looked at said 5 to 15% of people will have better conversation personalization. Don't have a cookie cutter template when you're reaching out to people. Try and put a little bit of thought, a little bit of time into what you're sending to people and make it personal so you'll have something that actually connects to that person and you'll have a higher chance of getting a response. So mindset tricks that I found that actually would help as a BDR. Quality over quantity. Don't try and walk into the office every day and say, hey, I'm gonna have 50 messages I'm gonna send out. But if 40 of those messages are baloney, then it's not gonna help you by any means. You have to have quality over quantity. You'd rather have 15 quality messages sent out versus 50 garbage messages sent out. Finally, have micro goals. Keep your momentum. If you get discouraged, keep on it, keep persistent, stay consistent, and it'll also lead to deals. Have a pre-call checklist. Have things that you want to hit before you talk to someone so that way you can stay organized and stay on track. Finally, reflect on rejections to learn fast. Obviously, as I said, part of this job is to get kicked in the teeth every single day. So when you get kicked in the teeth, reflect to see why you got kicked in the teeth and use that rejection to set you up for a next time yes. Finally, why this matters even if you're not in sales. Sales teaches resilience. As you guys know, a door-to-door salesman, I think is arguably one of the hardest jobs that a young person can do, because like I said, you're gonna have people that are gonna be pissed off every single time you knock on the door. You're gonna have no soliciting signs and people will still knock your door, and you're just gonna come to the door and just get yelled at and get your head ripped off all the time. You build communication and problem solving skills. By talking to people and interacting with people on a daily basis, you're gonna get better with interacting people. And communication, having good communication skills is obviously an extremely good trait to have in the real world. Finally, rejection happens in life. You need to learn how to bounce back. As you guys know, the life isn't sunshine and rainbows. You're obviously gonna get shot down, you're gonna get rejection, and by being in sales, it teaches you how to deal with that. A favorite quote of mine by Denzel Washington is, if you're not failing, you're not even trying. And this really stuck with me, because if you're in your comfort zone and you're not failing, then you're not really growing and trying to become a better person and learning new things. These are my sources. And final thought I want to leave you guys with, it's not about hitting numbers, it's about building momentum that lasts. I think a lot of people sometimes get caught up in the product and not the process, and that's why they fail and they don't get the full outlook on a lot of things in life. If you only get your mind focused on just the product and not what's happening along the way, then you're going to miss the all important things. So just remember, it's not about hitting numbers, it's about building momentum that lasts. Thank you.